Hey, beautiful soul. It's SanchiaDivine, your soul ascension mentor, transformational guide, psychic, somatic, and quantum energy trauma healing coach. I welcome you with the energies of my higher self, my ancient ancestors of wisdom, healing, love, and light. And today, we're diving deep into a personal and powerful and maybe even triggering topic for some. What is the difference between religion and spirituality? And how does this impact your spiritual journey? Whew. So let me take you back for a moment. I was raised in the church, not just a Sunday visitor. I was an acolyte, a lay minister. I sang in the choir, and I volunteered in nearly every way I could. Why? Because I had a deep longing to be closer to God, to feel that divine presence, to understand why I was here, what the purpose of life truly was. I followed in my mother's footsteps, and my children followed in mine. It was a legacy of faith. But still, something didn't sit right in my soul. Despite my devotion, I began to notice things. Contradictions in the scriptures, messages from leaders that didn't align with love or with the God I knew in my heart, teachings that left my spirit feeling more judged than embraced. Religion did not provide the fulfillment my heart longed for, but I stayed because I was committed to God. Until the communication trauma began. First in one church, then again years later in my own home church, the one I grew up in, my refuge, my sanctuary. Being silenced, misunderstood, treated with manipulation and control, all in the name of God. I was devastated, confused, heartbroken, but still, God never left me. The pain pushed me forward. It led me to a quick stop in the conscious community and then into spirituality. And baby, when I tell you things started activating, okay, the veil started lifting. I remembered things I had never been taught. I always had a knowing within. It's called clear cognizance. Growing up religious taught me to dismiss and ignore it, though. I felt things I had never allowed myself to feel. Divine source wasn't something I had to worship outside of myself. It was within me all along. I found my rhythm, my voice, my truth. Until, it happened again. This time in a spiritual community where I was thriving. Okay? More communication trauma, more silencing, more restrictions, more attempts to box me in. This time under the mask of spirituality. And then I realized no matter how religious or spiritual you are, if you haven't healed your trauma, it will follow you. It will play out in every church, every temple, every spiritual circle, every relationship, every job. Okay? You will give your power away to it until you see it. That's when my real spiritual journey began. When I found trauma healing, it all clicked. Those painful patterns weren't started in the church. The church just enabled them. They were born in my inner child. They were echoes of lifetimes unseen, unspoken, but very present. When I began healing those core wounds, everything changed. I found the frequency of God, not just the idea. And let me tell you something. God is not a man in the sky. God is a frequency. God is the breath you take, the love in your heart, the spark in your soul. God is in all things, all beings, all timelines, all there is, was, and ever shall be. And you don't have to prove your worth or perform for acceptance. You only have to align with that frequency through the gift of free will. That alignment is not forced. It's a choice. So God does not judge. However, there is repetition in the experiences attracted, sometimes carrying over into other lifetimes until you learn and grow from them. For me, healing trauma was the key to that alignment. Religion tried to keep me in a box. The spiritual community tried to put me in another one, all of which left the residue of devastation, anguish, and pain. But healing gave me the freedom to expand beyond it all. Whew. So if you've ever felt betrayed by a spiritual system, if you've ever felt silenced, unseen, or unworthy in your pursuit of God, I see you. I am you. And I want you to know you are your own sanctuary. And when you choose to heal, you don't just remember God. You become God. You embody love. You radiate truth. That's what I help others do through my one-to-one quantum healing sessions. On a quantum level, we go deep. We heal the wounds that religion and unbalanced spirituality couldn't touch. We come back to the frequency of divine love, and we rise, whole, sovereign, and free. If this resonates with your soul, my private quantum one-to-one healing sessions are open. Visit SanchiaDivineOfficial.com or find the link in my bio to book your session. And remember, you are not your trauma. You are divine. You were never disconnected. You were just remembering. I love you. Stay aligned, stay sovereign, and stay rooted in your light. Religion versus spirituality. What are some key differences? Religion, an external structure, organized system with doctrines, rituals, and intermediaries such as priests, pastors, texts. Spirituality, an inner connection, a direct relationship with divine source, creator, within, without intermediaries. Religion, obedience and rules, based, often rooted in fear, guilt, and control through moral codes. Spirituality, freedom and alignment, based, rooted in love, resonance, and intuitive alignment with one's higher self. Religion, belief in separation. God, divine, is seen as outside of you, distant, often punishing. Spirituality, union with divine. God, divine, is within, omnipresent, and expressed through your soul and consciousness. Religion, fixed doctrine. Truth is considered absolute and unchanging, often discouraging, questioning. Spirituality, evolving truth, encourages self-inquiry, personal revelation, and multidimensional understanding. Religion, fear of consequences, focus on sin, judgment, and the afterlife, heaven, hell paradigms. Spirituality, empowerment through awareness, focus on energy, vibration, and the now as creation points. Religion, tradition and ritual. Often practices are passed down without questioning relevance or resonance. Spirituality, intuition and flow. Practices are self-directed, based on soul alignment and embodied wisdom. Religion, community, conformity, emphasis on fitting into communal identity and shared belief systems. Spirituality, authentic expression, emphasis on unique soul expression, sovereignty, and divine individuality. Religion, hierarchy, and authority. Leadership often gatekeeps divine access and wisdom. Spirituality, sovereignty, and access. Every soul is a divine co-creator with direct access to universal wisdom. A spiritual truth you live and teach. Religion taught me to fear God. Spirituality reminded me that I am one with God. But healing helped me remember that God lives in my breath, my body, and my being.